Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my One Piece Odyssey perspective. Now, I played this game on PC. I'm lucky enough to also have it on Xbox, but I got it first and then I decided to port over to PC, and that will change up certain kind of things that I have for this. This is going to be on the PC stuff, not on the Xbox, but I do like that they had it in different kind of platforms and that I got something to show. So I'm getting to the end of the ones that I actually have physically that I've gotten on PC. Now, I did blitz through at least the Dressrosa arc to not get anything spoiled for One Piece Odyssey, because this is an interesting kind of game. It deals with kind of like a non-canon kind of thing going on with Wofford, this island that the Straw Hats kind of come onto, and through their various adventures they go through their memories of like Alabasta, Water 7, Inislabi, Marineford a little bit, and of course Dressrosa arc, while dealing with certain kind of stuff going on in the game. Now, PC wise, I had to do some weird kind of funky ass shit to kind of get it to the screen tearing to a minimum. Now, I don't know if it's down to like what kind of PC I've got, parts playing. I mean, I've gotten a kind of new rig that's got some good parts into it, so I'm doubtful that it's like the parts themselves or anything. It's just I would just have some screen tearing and all that, and I know that like VSync and frame limiters were kind of a weird thing, but I did get to fucking around with it, but it didn't take a whole lot. It wasn't like it turned into some kind of borked ass fucking shifting from the beautiful art style that we've got that really hits on the art style of One Piece to like Minecraft One Piece when you're buying one thing. If you've got Minecraft One Piece mod in a server in Minecraft, that makes sense. But if you got this and you're like, ah shit, I'm looking at Luffy and the crew, and it turns into some kind of blocky monstrosity, something has gone horribly wrong. I didn't encounter anything like that in here, but the screen tearing was stupid, and it took a little bit for me to finagle, but that's the extent of anything that kind of got a little bit weird. I played mostly on mouse and keyboard, which worked out pretty well, and it's mainly down to the gameplay elements itself that I pretty much had the issue with. So, how do we want to do this? Let's go with that and then hit mainly the story and everything, because that is the strongest part. So, this is a turn-based. It follows more along the lines of kind of Pokemon kind of thing, where you've got shooter kind of gun slinger kind of role. You got your power punchy kind of role. Guess who'd be in that one? Then your technique sword ass kind of role. You only have access to certain amount of these Straw Hats before we like go through some of the story. Get Frankie back, get Brooke back. So they kind of get under leveled as it kind of goes on, and you're trying to unlock their stuff. So that's a kind of issue that hits into the gameplay. But the turn-based aspects, I like turn-based. This was very kind of simple. I played on like the medium difficulty, I think, and it was pretty much easy. I mean, sometimes you'd get some kind of weird fucking thing that your ass would get tanked, but that usually kind of happened more in the Dressrosa arc with certain kind of characters, but at that point you start getting unlocked abilities where you can fucking spam things and like take shit out. I did switch to the AI at a certain kind of point to try and grind some stuff up, and fucking Luffy's throwing fucking Conqueror's hockey out like a goddamn motherfucker, being like, ba-ba, ba-ba! But even so, even though we've got different kind of the Straw Hat crews, we do get certain kind of things that kind of look a little bit similar. You can see that Frankie's doing like his iron boxing, kind of similar to Luffy's kind of Gungam Gatling going on. This also does not have English voice acting. If you get this game, your subtitles in Japanese. That's how it works. Unless for some strange fucking reason I was unable to find that thing, which, since I switched over to PC, could be a thing. But from what I saw, it's just Japanese voice acting and subtitles, which I just want to make that clear as well. That's kind of part of the gameplay. I didn't have any problem with it. It was done actually pretty well, and I kind of got into it as it was kind of going on. But I find that a little bit different than the anime, where usually I would like the dub, so that way otherwise I kind of actually have to watch it kind of twice to see the action of what's going on, and then reading what's kind of happening as well. It just gets a lot that you kind of have to juggle around. You don't really have that kind of problem here, because most of the action and everything kind of happens on Wofford. And anything else you've kind of already gone through, even though it's changed a little bit. So you just have to keep those kind of balancings in mind. Mainly your kind of whole problems would probably come into boss battles, understanding and utilizing anything going on with kind of like quote-unquote bullet spongy bosses. Even though there's only like certain kind of characters that use kind of guns, but it's just what you're able to, because they get like health out the ass, and then you gotta kind of like beat their asses down. But normally you got the tools to deal with it. You just gotta figure out what's kind of going on with it. Though that rarely afforded me a kind of game over that or like really fucked me over. No, that actually was kind of happening in Star Ocean Second Story R, the game that I'm currently playing, where for some reasons I'd get like turned into stone and get my party fucking wiped, and I'm like, how did this happen? What's kind of going on? What's the AI doing? That didn't really happen in One Piece Odyssey. Yeah, the biggest kind of downside is that even though this is built as like a grand RPG and open world, it's very limited, and your exploration kind of really isn't as rewarded as it could be. You do also run around as the Straw Hats, like you can pick Luffy, Chopper, Nami, Sanji, all that. And they have certain kind of things. Zoro can cut through metal objects. Nami can find money randomly, which definitely utilize her, because I didn't get this until I'd pretty much gotten to like Water 7 or whatnot. When she's like, my money! Fucking switch to her ass, because sometimes she can find over 100,000 fucking berries. Which leads me to another thing of berries being kind of inconsequential. You'll feel like you don't have really much to buy these kind of things for accessories to like amp up your shit, but it's mainly just stat sticks, and it's really done in a weird grid kind of pattern that was kind of annoying to try and figure out. Not figure out how it actually worked. You know how it works, but you kind of Tetris this fucking shit, and you're like, this is fucking kind of stupid. And then you get into the fusion aspect, which is from Robin, and then you can't. I got towards the end, and I couldn't. I wanted to fuse certain kind of ones together, but most of the stuff I could only do would be putting stuff into purple stuff, and I had put other purple stuff into stuff before, and it kind of was like, shit. So then I'm just like switching out to other kind of stuff because it's got a little bit better kind of stat things, but it really didn't matter much. I just wanted to make certain kind of characters like Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro have big ass fucking numbers to kill ass fucking shit. It's like, motherfucker. But it really didn't stop me, but it was just kind of irritating and annoying how these systems kind of like got in your way a little bit, but not enough for you to get through and destroy yourself playing the game. It's not on a level for me like Deadly Premonition, where I actually had to fight the fucking game. It was more kind of annoyances that kind of balanced out at the end, because I was more invested in the story and seeing what was going on with the Straw Hats. I think those are the main story aspects. Like, trying to find stuff in the world's like, okay, alright, going through little chopper holes, because Chopper's the only one small enough to be able to get through them. There wasn't any kind of ones with Frankie. Then trying to find Frankie's kind of stuff to build out bridges was a little bit annoying. Brooke didn't have shit. Yeah, it's just mainly the down. Like, it's a fine game. Like, if I'd had like one thing to really say, it's a game. If it didn't have One Piece on it, it would just be the bare bones kind of RPG kind of thing, and nothing to write home about. I'd even just say kind of dodge it, unless you were looking for a first RPG for somebody to introduce them to turn-based combat and kind of figuring out weaknesses and strengths. Maybe it would be a good enough one to get them to kind of understand a little bit a Persona kind of tactic of hitting strengths and weaknesses. Though, if you had them play this and then threw them into like Persona 5 or whatnot, you kind of got to ease them into it and be like, okay, now you got to play this tutorial. You kind of got the basics from this fucker. This gonna be a whole nother fucker, man. But I could definitely see it kind of being used as an on-ramp to get people into that. Dragon Quest, like a dragon kind of series, moving into like 7. Yeah, and Infinite Wealth. I think in those kind of RPG kind of tactics, I haven't played Infinite Wealth yet, but since they're turn-based and everything and kind of based on those kind of ones, I think this would be able to pull you into that kind of thing. But it's the story and the Straw Hats that really make it, as they're kind of continuing on their adventures, and then they come to the island of Wofford. And then they kind of get introduced to Audio, who you can tell from the get-go, okay, this dude's not really going to be up on the up and up, is he? Especially since it's him and this girl Lim, and it's like, okay, what's going on here? So the Straw Hats pretty much start off at like level 40, and then they kind of get cracked on by this Colossus thing, and Lim touches them and removes their powers pretty much in these blocks. So you're pretty much going through the island, taking down these Colossi, and the thing is, Wofford would be the more interesting kind of one. I'd rather have had them go through certain kind of remixes for their memories, have that be a smaller kind of one. I know this was to like celebrate One Piece. One Piece is like 25 years, but I think they put a little bit too much on that kind of nostalgia factor and let that kind of negatively affect the Wofford one, because I really liked Lim, I really liked Audio. I kind of wanted more stuff going into that and understanding what was kind of going on with them. We do get a look in on the World Government Elders being like, oh god, they're at the Divine Breath. It's like, what the fuck's kind of going on? Learning that Audio's Sky Tribe, there's a Sky Island, they were like doing shit with this Divine Breath. They could like control the weather and shit, and everyone's like, fuck you, buddy! And they're like, fuck you, buddy! And then somehow, for some reason, their Sky Island fell. It fucked over Audio and his people, and he's pretty much one of his last people, and he's trying to utilize the Divine Breath to enact vengeance upon the world and remake it how he sees fit. Your typical kind of One Piece stuff, actually, for a lot of the characters. He has clear motivations and everything that do pop up at the end, and that's more the problem with the pacing of the game, i.e., we're going to do all this kind of stuff where we like hit all these major moments. The one that is the least one is Marineford, which it's really kind of weird. You need to hit Marineford, but you don't do Impel Down, and you don't really flesh it out. It's more like a kind of battle boss rush a little bit, which you incidentally get a boss rush at the end. Again, why this is actually a pretty good first RPG, turn-based RPG one to get them acclimated to the fucking boss rush at the end. Because then you replay and fight through these bosses and shit. But it's given the like least amount and then some kind of weird fucked up kind of world thing for you to explore later, because we're trying to do open world RPG kind of shit, and it's just, it's at least not, no, it's kind of on the level of like Ubisoft stuff. I mean, there's not the amount where it's like, collect 50 billion fucking toenail clippings from the Gakalogook, and you're like, 1 check mark, 2 check mark, 3 check mark, No, it doesn't get to that kind of level, but you're like, alright, I gotta hunt these bounty people down, I gotta look around for these cubes and shit to power up my people to make our stuff stronger, which I didn't really feel that much stronger on that. I'd feel stronger with doing this stuff with the accessories rather than that, but... And then Dressrosa got a pretty interesting one, kind of a change up and everything, especially when you're having characters brought into those worlds, those memories, that weren't there the first time, like Nami and Sanji as they were leaving for Zhao at that kind of point when Luffy and the rest of them were dealing with what was kind of going on Dressrosa. Yeah, and then you kind of pretty much get out and you see that like Audio had been utilizing Lim for all this kind of stuff. It turns out that Lim is just actually like, you get this kind of crazy moment where Audio fucking shoots her in the face point blank, and you're like, oh my god, she's dead, but then she turned into a cube. It's like, oh, this is like a memory thing from like Lim, who's actually in the Divine Breath, as Luffy and the crew just beat the fucking shit out of it. And then of course, well, we beat Audio first, then we beat the Divine Breath, and then he kind of fucks off. afterwards, and Smoker's like trying to figure out what's kind of going on. It's like, oh my god, evidently having some kind of relationship with audio, but not really, again, delved into that much. This is more of the here's all the cool ass moments from One Piece, kind of doing remix style, which is cool. All right, I like that. That's why I blitzed through this to kind of see what kind of goes on. I just wish there was more into that, and that there was a better kind of balance between this and the story on the outside. I know that, to be honest with you, they knew what their focus was, and knowing that makes sense. But I really wanted more time and effort to be balanced with what was going on Wofford, because I'm like, wow, audio limb, this is the good kind of shit. This is the shit that we get in anime and all that shit. I'm like, yeah. And it's just like, all right, not as much time and effort put into that, because you get your typical kind of stuff. It's really kind of smaller, running around the island doing the kind of stuff. You get your typical RPG game kind of like walkthroughs to like get and open stuff up before you get to the end, and then kind of blast out, and then you've got like challenge post game shit that you could do if you wanted to. I didn't want to. I was just like, I'm good. I had my fun with the Straw Hats. I like seeing Luffy putting his faith in his friends and his dream against audio for what he was doing and what he did to Lim, because Lim became his friend. And she couldn't. I like really seeing Lim go throughout and understand the Straw Hats and become pretty much a fan of the Straw Hats after seeing everything, because she went from pirates fucking suck, Nami kind of style, to I love you guys, come back at some point throughout your adventures and shit. And they're kind of like sorry that they have to leave her kind of alone-ish with herself. But then we get a thing at the end that sees that like somebody comes that makes her really happy, because she's waiting for audio, believing him to be family, even though he's like, I've been utilizing you, and I'm going to pretty much remake the world as a dick. Okay, not cool there, bro. No. So, this was a good one. This is a very interesting instance where the story outshone the gameplay, and that even the gameplay was fine. It's serviceable. At least I'm not actively attempting to fight it, and I wouldn't think that anybody would need to actively fight it either. I didn't run into any kind of weird-ass bugs that like destroyed my progress or anything like that on PC, so if you're looking into it on PC, keep that in mind, and how it would run on your system and everything. Check to make sure that. If you're looking into it on Xbox or any kind of other platform, I'd still say it's worth it. Yeah, 25 years of One Piece. They even have that little kind of thing there. I am sorry that it's like fucking... Yeah, okay. Fucking glare and shit. Yeah, I am glad I played it. It'll be, I think this is at least a good kind of base. I would rather have them hopefully use this to expand upon and actually do its own kind of story. Maybe it's because it's more recent for me, because I've been going through the One Piece show. It definitely would probably work better for people that it's been a while, or they're new to One Piece and want to get into reliving those moments and remixing those moments a little bit. They don't get really fucking crazy on the remixes for it. Just kind of little tweaks or changes here or there that are interesting. Be like, what are those that happen? Okay. What? Oh, okay. Ah, shit. Fighting with Jinbei and Crocodile against like the three admirals at Marineford. Alright. But I would definitely recommend it to like One Piece fans. It won't really take you too long, unless you're pretty much trying to make sure that you don't get yourself fucking kicked in the ass on certain kind of things. But I think you'd almost have to try to do that. Like, completely ignore systems, not do anything, just fucking not utilize the cube system whatsoever. You'd have, like, it would take some work for that. Not utilize Sanji's cooking, or Usopp making balls. Yeah, trick balls and shit like that. Which, by the way, is another kind of strange thing where your characters can't defend or kind of give up your turn. You kind of have to just throw shit or use food, which was really kind of weird and lent a strange kind of management to what was going on, where it's like, I hope I have enough balls for this shit. I hope I have enough food for this shit. Because sometimes you have to like prioritize your other kind of character to kicking ass and taking names because the other one's gonna just do like jack fucking shit or get their asshole pushed in because for some reason, because of like the type difference, and you don't want them to go into the kind of battle area because it's like, you don't get fucking killed. It's like, I got this shit. It's like, no you don't. What? Ah, fuck. Now I gotta deal with this. And then you're trying to like revive their ass, but of course they're so weak to the type they get again. So be very careful with it if you got that. But I would still recommend it, mainly on the strength of the story and the characters, and what's kind of going on with it. So yeah, those are my opinions on the game. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.